It feels, it feels really exciting to be here in person, together, with the purpose of celebrating and honoring so many incredible contributions to our Wakefield Public Schools. Tonight, we have the awesome privilege of recognizing students, staff, and volunteers who have made a positive impact in our school community. To our honorees, thank you and congratulations. Carrie and I would also like to take a moment to recognize and thank two key members of our own WEF team, Elizabeth Russell and Jennifer Terrio, who just recently wrapped up their tenure as president and vice president of WEF. Their leadership and dedication to our WEF mission over the past 6+ years has been remarkable. We're so grateful for their guidance and their continued work as part of our WEF board. Please join me in a round of applause for Elizabeth and Jen. A bit about WEF. WEF was created more than 30 years ago as a nonprofit organization with a mission to support and enhance excellence in the educational experience of all students in the Wakefield Public School District. Since 1989, WEF has awarded more than $440,000 in grants to our schools. These grants allow teachers and PTOs to enhance the general curriculum with additional enrichment and experiential activities. Examples of programs funded by WEF include STEM projects like chick hatching, garden growing, robotics, Lake Quannapowitt water quality testing, speakers and activities that address social emotional needs, recycling initiatives, artist and author visits, theater arts programs, and so much more. Thank you to all of you in attendance tonight who have done so much to promote and support our mission over the years. Recently, WEF was deeply honored to be designated as an in memoriam donation recipient for several members of our community that we sadly lost over the last few years. These individuals have had a lasting impact in our schools and exemplify the kind of work WEF strives to support and recognize. Ms. Pamela Wood was a beloved speech therapist in the Greenwood school community, who we tragically lost last year. In collaboration with Ms. Wood's family and her colleagues at Greenwood, WEF has been able to fund the creation of a Ms. Pam's Lending Library at all 4 Wakefield elementary schools. Each library, yes. Each library will include a dedicated bookshelf handcrafted by Pam's dad that will hold a special collection of books to assist children dealing with loss and grief. WEF is so proud to be part of this effort to honor Pam and her work that has touched so many. Tonight, we also remember Steve Gates, who was a cherished volunteer for 19 years and became an ingrained part of the day for Woodville students, teachers, and staff. He was recognized at our 2009 Celebration of Learning as he exhibited the core values of the Woodville on a daily basis. Steve brought many smiles to Woodville as he greeted students on school day mornings, and WEF would like to pay tribute to his legacy of kindness and positivity. Tonight's Celebration of Learning is about honoring contributions like Pam's and Steve's that make up the strong and resilient community of our Wakefield Public Schools.
Before we begin presenting awards, we would like to take a moment to recognize the many individuals and businesses that support WEF and make evenings like this possible. I will start with our 2021-22 WEF partners, which are local businesses who support WEF by underwriting the costs of our annual fundraising activities so that all money earned goes directly into our annual grant process. WEF is thankful for the support of this year's WEF partners: Arbor Tree Services, Christopher J. Barrett Realtors, Dance Studio of Wakefield, The Farmland, Hart's Ace Hardware, Hartshorn and Curly Insurance, HD Physical Therapy, Honeydew by the Lake, Keats Tree, Dr. Mickey's Pediatric and Orthodontic Specialists, North Star Realtors, the Savings Bank, the Scholarship Foundation, and the Wakefield Cooperative Bank. There are also many people we would like to thank for helping WEF coordinate this event, including the Sweet Bay Shop for donating the floral arrangements, voila, as you see here tonight, the WCAT team for broadcasting the event live for our remote audiences, student volunteers from the National Honor Society and National Art Honor Society here to help tonight, Sandy Texera of the Wakefield Public Schools Food Services for organizing the refreshments for tonight's reception. A special thank you to WEF board members Kim Hartman and Sue Warden, thank you, for planning and orchestrating this evening's event, and to the many WEF volunteers who have played a role in making tonight's event possible. The Celebration of Learning ceremony also provides WEF with the unique opportunity to recognize individuals whose contributions make our schools and community thrive. WEF would like to thank everyone involved with making this evening possible. Thank you to School Superintendent, Mr. Doug Lyons, and Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Kara Morrow, and all the principals and staff for your continued support of WEF. Finally, WEF thanks the school committee for their hard work on behalf of the schools and for their support of WEF. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Susie Veyer, chairperson of the school committee, to say a few words.
I've actually never been on a stage like this where the lights are shining in your eyes and you can't see anybody. So good evening and welcome. My name is Susie Veyer, and as Carrie mentioned, I'm the school committee chairperson. I'm excited to be here tonight for the 26th annual Wakefield Educational Foundation's Celebration of Learning. This is my first time attending, and I'm looking forward to recognizing the amazing work of our students, staff, and volunteers across all of our schools. Over 50 students and over 30 staff members and volunteers will be recognized tonight. Congratulations to you all who will be receiving recognition. It's quite an honor to be included in this very special event, and all of you should be very proud of yourselves. I also wanted to take a minute to recognize the great work that the Wakefield Educational Foundation does for our schools, in addition to hosting this wonderful event. Each year, WEF awards grant funds for special projects across our schools and district, and this year, WEF awarded $42,000 in grants. Those grants funded many different kinds of projects, including enrichments programs, field trips, enhancements to existing programs, special speakers, teaching materials, and books. The past 2 years have been challenging, to say the least. Our students have missed out on a lot of hands-on learning opportunities, special presentations, and field trips. It's great to have those special activities back, and on behalf of the school committee, I'd like to thank the Wakefield Educational Foundation for their role in making this happen, and for their continued support of the evolving needs of our students and staff as we work to get back to a more normal school experience for our students. Thank you for allowing me to say a few words, and I look forward to being a part of tonight's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. And now we will get started with honors from each of our schools. A quick note before we start. For honorees, when it's time for your award, a WEF volunteer will be coming around to your section and helping you get to line up on the ramp to come up on stage. After you receive your certificate, which Melissa and I will be passing out, you're going to stay for a picture with your principal and the superintendent, and then you will all exit the stage over there and go back to your seats. Everyone got it? All right. All right. Starting with the Doyle Early Childhood Center, please welcome school principal Ms. Shannon Blacker.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Doyle School, it's nice to be back in person to recognize members of the Wakefield community, including students, volunteers, and staff. Thank you to WEF for organizing a great evening for our community again, and for always supporting the staff and students of the Wakefield Public Schools. I'm going to ask Carol, Linda, and Diane to please come up. Should I start talking? So tonight, the Doyle School is honoring 2 staff members and 1 volunteer. I'm going to start with the staff members first. So Linda Shores, come over here. Make me feel a little bit more comfortable. So Linda Shores is a paraprofessional at Doyle. Linda started at the Doyle years ago, filling as a substitute, working in with our medically fragile population. Since then, Linda hasn't stopped. She fell in love with Doyle students and continues to be someone we can count on in any classroom. For the past few years, Linda has been a building substitute. This year, Linda transitioned to being a paraprofessional, part-time. However, Linda doesn't know how to say no. Nothing's part-time, always offering to help when needed. As most of you know, staffing has been very difficult to find during these times. I approached Linda to take on the extra work during a maternity leave. Without hesitation, Linda said, of course. Linda has an outstanding work ethic. She is a wonderful, nurturing paraprofessional that always strives to the best for her kiddos. She is kind, compassionate, and has a wonderful way to make each student feel loved and supported. Linda always goes the extra mile, staying after school to prepare materials, taking on the lead if needed in the classroom, making sure all students are cared for, and making sure medical attention is given to our students. She always has a smile on her face when in the halls and is kind and compassionate to all of her colleagues. She supports not only the individual students she's responsible for, but all the students and staff when needed. She will step in any classroom when asked with ease because she just understands what needs to be done. Linda, Doyle's very lucky to have you working with our students and staff, and thank you for everything you do. So I don't have students, so I get to talk a little bit longer with staff. Our next Doyle recipient is Diane Brackett. Diane is also a paraprofessional in our integrated classrooms. Diane is someone that will do anything asked of her. She is a true team player that never complains. Diane is respected by all staff, students, and families. Words that come to mind when thinking of Diane: kind, firm, nurturing, respectful, and a leader. Since my time working at Doyle, Diane is someone that I can always count on for support, advice, and direction. She is a straight shooter when it comes to asking for advice and would tell you how it is. I appreciate this more than she probably even knows. Last school year, as we prepared for our return to school, Diane was a member of our reopening team that I could count on to do anything asked of her: measure a room, move furniture around, show up every Wednesday to think outside of the box, help with communications, problem solve, and understand the perspective of all parties. If this celebration would have taken place last school year, Diane would have been the #1 recipient for this award. As you can imagine, we opened the year with a lot of anxiety and emotion, especially at Doyle, as we were fully in person with students. After about a month of school, I approached Diane to take the lead for the classroom in which she worked. Without hesitation, Diane agreed. She creatively planned lessons, shared lessons with other teachers, engaged all students, and taught a preschool classroom like it was hers for over 10 years. Who knew a former DA agent would turn into a phenomenal teacher? Not only is Diane a wonderful person at Doyle, she is equally wonderful mom to 4 children who have either graduated or will be graduating from Wakefield High School. She's also a wife. She balances life and work better than anyone I know. Diane, thank you for always keeping a positive attitude and finding the good in everyone and everything. Your compassion to understand individuals, adults and students, with or without needs, is unmatched. Congratulations. And lastly, I'm going to honor Carol Komponeski, our volunteer. After leading Doyle for the last 5 years, there are not too many individuals at the age of 83 that are still willing and able to work, let alone at a preschool with 3 to 5-year-olds. Carol was working as a substitute when I arrived at Doyle 5 years ago. She is loved by each and every staff member and student at the Doyle. Her sense of humor, telling me all her jokes when she comes in every day, and energy when she walks in the door emulates across our building. Last year during the pandemic, and when Doyle students came in full-time, Carol called Doyle in the spring because she hadn't heard from us. We told her we were being cautious due to COVID. Carol still offered to come in and help. In Carol fashion, the phone rang again this year at Doyle, reaching out, because she wanted to volunteer her time instead of substituting. We found a great opportunity for Carol, and she became our Doyle librarian, which is a volunteer position every year. Carol comes every Tuesday to read to each class and students select books to take out. She often brings her own books from home to share with our students. Not many principals today can brag about having someone willing to come in and do anything we need whenever we need her, with the exception of first thing in the morning when she's got to get to church. As Carol leaves each Tuesday, she always says to me, "Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Coming to Doyle keeps me active and busy, so I could even come to help with lunch and dismissal." One teacher wrote to me and said, "Carol is a staple in our school community and is our school grandma." In today's world, we could all use a little Carol to keep us going and laughing. I will end with this. A student just yesterday asked Carol why she always has a smile on her face. Carol responded, "Because I'm happy." The child said, "Well, why are you happy?" Carol said, "Because coming to Doyle and being with all of you make me happy." Thank you, Carol. Can I introduce the next one? So next, I am introducing elementary school principal at the Dolabit, TJ Liberty.
Want to begin by thanking Shannon for going first so we know where to stand when we're taking our pictures. Thank you, Shannon. I certainly would be lost. Good evening. I'm TJ Liberty, principal of the Dolabit Elementary School, and I would like to begin by thanking the Wakefield Educational Foundation for their unwavering support of teaching and learning across our district over the years. Would you like to have everybody come up? Oh, you got them all. Okay, good. It is now my honor to share with you this year's recipients of the Celebration of Learning Award from the Dolabit School. The following 4th grade students have been recognized by their peers because they encompass our school's core values. Please hold your applause until all the names are read. Callie Spry, Henry Gipp, Theo Carrier, Catherine Rocker, Alexa Scribner, J.D. Stanley, Jack Bowman, and Allie Rocca. When I inquired as to why these students are chosen by their peers, I was provided with an overwhelming amount of responses from our students. While sifting through these responses, I kept coming across the same common phrases such as hardworking, supportive, kind, and respectful. What is interesting but not surprising is the fact that each of these statements closely connects to the values we strive to instill in our Dolabit students. My Dolabit friends, as you inch closer to the end of the school year and your impending transition into the Galvin Middle School, please know that the faculty and staff of the Dolabit are so proud of each and every one of you. The Galvin is lucky to have you. Congratulations on this recognition, my Dolabit Dragons. Is now my honor and pleasure to recognize our staff that are being awarded the Celebration of Learning Award. Sue Bergeron and Meg Hoffman. Both Sue and Meg, Sue being our school secretary, and Meg, our school nurse. I'm going to begin by talking about Meg. Meg, it is truly an understatement to say that school nurses are the unsung heroes of our schools. Meg began her career in Wakefield as a float nurse, supporting many different schools across the district. After becoming the full-time nurse at Dolabit, she quickly established herself as a trusted adult for so many students and a go-to resource for staff and families, and one principal. Like all nurses over the past 2 years, she battled the onslaught of COVID-19, helping to create a safe learning environment for both students and staff. Meg's calming and reassuring presence helped to create a sense of ease for students, staff, and families. Meg, thank you for your commitment and dedication to our entire Dolabit community. Sue. School secretary is truly one of the most important roles in a school. You ask any principal, and they will tell you, we cannot do our jobs without our school secretaries, our partners in crime. Whether it's verifying attendance and dismissals, ensuring that there are enough substitutes, which Sue does amazingly well at, figuring out who's taking the bus or going to academy, ordering and organizing classroom supplies, navigating staff needs, or just keeping the principal on task and making sure his speeches aren't too long. Sue does it all. There is not a question she does not have the answer to, or a problem she cannot solve. To put things into perspective, in the very few times that Sue's been out, it takes both Michelle, who is our assistant principal, and I to cover the office for her, and even doing so, we're still texting her, asking her questions. And she's always there to answer those texts right away because she's so dedicated to the students, staff, and families of the Dolabit School. She is always there for us and truly invaluable to us. I could go on, but I did promise Sue that I would be brief in my remarks. Sue, thank you for your endless commitment and dedication to the students, staff, and families of the Dolabit School. Sorry, Shannon, we would have had this right. Next, I would like to invite Alyssa Kelly and Katie Pritchett as our volunteer recipients. It is my honor to recognize Alyssa and Katie, who have been PTO leaders and active parent volunteers at the Dolabit School for the past 9 and 10 years, respectfully. Sorry. The PTO at each school in our district is truly a significant partner in the education of our students. When I began my tenure as principal at the Dolabit, I was fortunate to work with both Alyssa and Katie. They were instrumental in helping me understand the needs of the students of our school and our school community. Both Alyssa and Katie are fierce advocates for our teachers and students, whether it was organizing fundraisers, family student events, or enrichment programs such as the world-famous Sparks program. Everything was done with students' needs in mind. Alyssa and Katie, please know the tremendous impact you have had on our school community. I speak for the entire Dolabit community when I say we will truly miss your leadership and passion for teaching and learning, and we're giving serious thought to retaining your students, so you're here with us for another year. Thank you. After the third time, I would know. Now I'd like to introduce the principal of the Greenwood School, Miss Tiffany Back.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd actually like to kind of break from the tradition of what's been started just because it fits my speech a little better, and I'd like to have my 4 Greenwood student friends come and join me on stage. Their names will be revealed during my remarks. So I would like to introduce 4 wonderful students from the Greenwood 4th grade who were selected by their peers as those who best represent our school's core values. Leah Ellis, Katherine Johnson, Brady McCarthy, and Henry Thurston consistently demonstrate respect, honesty, responsibility, compassion, cooperation, friendship, and perseverance through their actions and words. Your teachers and classmates recognize this and chose to celebrate you at tonight's WEF ceremony. You should know you are a true role model for others. We at Greenwood are so proud of you, and the Galvin Middle School is very lucky to be having you join them next year. Congratulations. All right, next I would like to call up my 2 staff recognition members, so Jenny Beardsley and Jean Buckley. So it is my pleasure to introduce Greenwood School Psychologist Jenny Beardsley as a staff recipient of this year's Celebration of Learning honor. When Greenwood moved from a part-time to a full-time school psychologist 3 years ago, we were so lucky to bring Jenny into our Gator community. To be honest, I'm not sure that Dolabit or Woodville has forgiven us quite yet about this. Jenny is fiercely dedicated to supporting students and is always ready to brainstorm ideas and try out solutions that will help our students be their best selves. She cares about the Greenwood community deeply and is mindful and deliberate about letting people know that she sees and appreciates everything they do. Students know that Jenny is a trusted adult and always feel safe and encouraged by her kind and gentle demeanor. The Greenwood staff sees her as a go-to person for suggestions and support, and not just when it comes to helping students. The adults are often seeking them out for themselves. And parents, whether current or former, appreciate her calm guidance and thorough approach to helping guide their children to develop and grow in the realm of social-emotional learning. Jenny exemplifies the spirit of community engagement, and I am delighted to recognize her tonight. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to the Greenwood School community. And it is also my pleasure to celebrate Greenwood Library Media Specialist Jean Buckley as a staff recipient of this year's Celebration of Learning honor. Jean started in her library media role 4 years ago after many years as a kindergarten teacher. She brings an energy and enthusiasm to her work that cannot be understated. This role is one with many layers, balancing the development of a love of reading and books with instruction and practice of a variety of technology skills across classrooms from grades K to 4. Jean is always trying out new things, evaluating what is actually working well for students, and making sure that kids love coming to the library each and every session. You would hardly know that Jean splits her time between 2 schools because of the dedication on her part to both students and staff. She is a Greenwood Gator through and through. If you ask Jean for help with anything, she is 100% there. Even if you say no more than, "I was thinking maybe," Jean will take that thought and run with it. She has absolutely revitalized our book collection to ensure that students see both themselves and others reflected in the books housed at Greenwood. Her flexibility and willingness to do whatever it takes makes the Greenwood Library program a huge success. Jean is an important and valued member of the Greenwood staff, and I'm delighted to recognize her tonight. While we wish you the absolute best in your retirement, you will be deeply missed, and we thank you for your dedication and commitment to the Greenwood School community. All right, and I'd like to call my Greenwood volunteers, Tara Durant and Jen Mcdonald. Okay, first, it is my pleasure to introduce Tara Durant and recognize her for her commitment and dedication to Greenwood. Tara has been an important part of keeping the Greenwood community active for many years. We would like to thank Tara for her tireless coordination of the Before School Box, Build Our Kids' Success program over a number of years. Tara rounds up parent volunteers, handles promotion and sign-ups, and plans early morning sessions to help kids start their school day with fun physical activity and structured play. Everyone who participates loves Box and comes into school with a big smile. Tara has also been a leader for the planning and organization of our field day, which, as anyone connected to elementary schools knows, is always one of the most anticipated events of the year. The dedication and planning on Tara's part so that kids and adults have a fun day together is extremely appreciated. Last but not least, we have Tara to thank for championing the idea of a Greenwood Science Fair and creating an opportunity for families to explore and share interesting science projects with the greater community. Tara, thank you for all you have done for the Greenwood School children and staff. We will miss you as Caden moves on to middle school. Congratulations. And finally, it is also my pleasure to introduce Jen Mcdonald and recognize her for her involvement with and dedication to Greenwood over the years. When I first started as the Greenwood principal, Jen was a member of our Greenwood PTO board and a constant presence at events. Her term on the board came to an end, but that didn't seem to change the amount of time or energy Jen was giving to the Greenwood School. Whether spearheading the 4th grade yearbook committee, making sure the Greenwood staff is celebrated throughout the school year with special, thoughtful treats as the head of the Staff Appreciation Committee, creating a Greenwood School float for the 4th of July parade festivities, or tackling the organization of the Greenwood Spring Dance simply because these kids deserve a fun event, Jen's energy has benefited everyone connected with Greenwood and brought joy to students, families, and staff alike. Jen, thank you for your commitment to the children and staff of the Greenwood School. We will miss you as Audrey moves on to middle school. Congratulations. And now I would like to introduce the principal of the Walton Elementary School, Brian Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite our fantastic Walton students to the stage. Connor Shear, Haley Levada, Maggie Cater, and Sam Chines. Please come join me. So at the beginning of the school year, I generally make a trip into each classroom. And when I make it to the 4th grade, what I tell my group of 4th graders is that I want them to be role model students for the rest of our school. I think role models are so important right now, more so than ever. And these students on the stage today have come through on that request. Connor, Haley, Maggie, and Sam are fantastic student role models. Be safe, be respectful, take care of our school, and do our best work. Those are our Walton School expectations. Sam, Maggie, Haley, and Connor do those 4 things in spades. They always do their best work. They are absolute role models, being respectful to each other, to everyone in our school community. They take care of our school, and they make sure that them and those around them are safe. Thank you so much, students, for everything you've put into this school year. Galvin Middle School will be lucky to have you next year. I would now like to invite volunteers first, Laura Levada and Amy Lehman up to the stage, please. Laura, a parent and our PTO president at Walton, since I started almost 2 years ago now at Walton, has been an absolutely incredible support. Laura, I am constantly asking Laura for help, and she is constantly saying yes. One favor after the next, Laura always comes through. She is so dedicated to our school, to our students, and is a truly incredible partner in this work of supporting our students at Walton. As everyone knows, or I think everyone who works with her knows by now, Laura is extremely organized and capable. I've heard it rumored that Laura may eventually be elected the president of all the PTO presidents of Wakefield due to the fact that she is always connecting people together, making sure that schools are on the same page, and trying to make our efforts work together in a positive way for our kids. Something I really appreciate about Laura is that she gives me feedback all the time. She tells me when she thinks that something could change, and she does it in a way that's honest and helpful. And then she helps me find a solution. Laura, thank you so much for your help over the past couple of years. It's been a true honor to work with you, and I look forward to continuing to work together. Amy Lehman, our 4th grade parent who unfortunately will go on to Galvin next year and will miss also a PTO member and school committee member. So I think one of the silver linings of this pandemic has been that this situation has made the partnership between schools and families closer and more important. We've really had to learn to work together better. And I think Amy's a fantastic example of that. Amy is an excellent partner, and like Laura, gives honest feedback that helps improve our school for our students. About a year ago, around this time, Amy came to me and said, I think it would be great if we got the student council going again. It hadn't been happening for a while at Walton. And, you know, we were at that time of the year when we were looking for ways to keep school fun and keep kids engaged. And Amy basically started up the student council on her own, looped me in and involved me, but really did the heavy lifting. And thanks to Amy, we now have a really active and wonderful student council at Walton this year. So thank you for that, Amy. All right. I would now like to invite our school secretary, Sue Warden, and speech language pathologist, Colleen Lacey, to join me at the stage. Keeping with my theme of role models for my remarks, I have a quote that I really love that I shared with our staff at the beginning of this school year. I heard it in a TED Talk from John Wooden. It goes like this: no written word or spoken plea can teach our youth what they should be, nor all the books on all the shelves. It's what the teachers are themselves. I love that quote, and I really do value great role models. I think it's so important, the people that we put in front of our children, and Sue and Colleen are fantastic examples of that. As our speech pathologist, language pathologist at Walton, Colleen truly excels at meeting the needs of students with a variety of needs. I have been so impressed working with Colleen, and here are a few examples of why. Colleen, in her work at the beginning of this school year, found a tool to help students build their vocabulary and describing skills in their speech lessons. The tool worked extremely well, but she didn't stop there. She took that tool and shared it with our staff and helped them use it as well. Colleen's ability to complement and work collaboratively with our teachers and with what's happening in the classrooms is fantastic. Such an important attribute of a speech-language pathologist. It doesn't stop with academics, though. Colleen, what struck me recently when we had our Dress Like Your Favorite Book Character Day, Colleen took a student aside and worked with her to make sure that she had a costume she was excited about for the theme day the next day. It's little things like this that can make a student's day, week, or year, and Colleen makes things like that happen. Thank you, Colleen, for always going above and beyond. Our administrative assistant, Sue Warden, is special. Many of you probably know her. Sue also had the unfair advantage of being an office neighbor with me, so I've been able to see Sue work more than others. I guess you could think of that as a disadvantage potentially. But I get to work with and overhear Sue working quite a lot, and vice versa. And what strikes me about Sue is whether it's our staff, the students at our school, our families, or volunteers, anyone at all, Sue is so incredibly supportive, always, unfailingly supportive. What a fantastic quality for the first person that people see when they walk in our school doors. Our school staff this year had a major undertaking implementing a new math curriculum. It became apparent after not long into the school year that there would be quite a bit of prep work to do to make this curriculum implementation go well. Cutting out things, laminating, making copies, making sure the teachers had all the materials they needed to implement these new lessons. Sue got a whiff of this, and within a week, essentially had a small business run out of Walton to make sure that our teachers had anything taken off their plate that possibly could be, and make sure that this went well. She solicited parent volunteers. She got our paraprofessionals involved to help, and really made a system that supported our teachers. And it's really impressive, and just one of many, many examples of how Sue is so supportive to our staff, students, and families. Thank you for this, Sue. I would now like to introduce Woodville School Principal Matthew Carter.
So for many of you, you probably think I've been here for a long time. This is actually my first time doing this, so I didn't really know what to expect. So I, too, am going to go a little off script, and I'm going to have some fun doing it. We'd like to thank WEF, obviously, for their continued support. Thank you so much. It's unwavering. We appreciate it. I also want to thank the Woodville staff members who are not being honored tonight, but came in support of their former students or current students, our volunteers, and their colleagues. So Brooke, Joyce, Wendy, who else is back there? Donna, Nicole, Kristen, and Tammy. I really appreciate your support tonight. Thank you. So I am going to call up our 8 Woodville Bears. Come on up. So we truly have the pleasure of seeing these 8 wonderful students every day. It is a gift what they bring to our school. I do have some unique words about each one, so I do want to share that. Conor Foote, team player every day in room 307. This is straight from his students and the teacher. Conor keeps our room organized and updated. He's a star student all around, first person to offer help anyone is in need. Conor has even led school tours at the Woodville and does a bang-up job doing it. The class finds Conor very easy to talk to. Our class is excited to watch him continue to be a leader as the years go by. And one student added, someday he might even end up being our boss. Thank you, Conor. Can you give a wave, Conor, just so everyone knows who you are? Good wave? Awesome. Christina Orsinio Rivera, a positive role model. In room 307, Christina greets students every day with a smile, and it does not go unnoticed by her peers. Christina works very hard, which motivates others to do the same, and the class finds her to be very kind and understanding of all, which is a great quality. Our class knows that Christina will continue to be a role model as years go by, and don't be surprised if you see Christina's name someday on the cover of a book in the future. Thank you, Christina. Christina, wave. Gabby Cole. Gabby was voted for the Celebration of Learning by her classmates. The reasoning was truly her kindness and empathy towards others, perseverance through difficult tasks, and a respect for all. She's always first to follow directions and be helpful around the classroom. Other comments from peers is that she's a great friend and shows honesty, and we are so thankful to call her one of our own. Great job, Gabby. Give us a wave, Gabby. Awesome. Perfect. Luke Stepanis. Luke was nominated by his peers for the Celebration of Learning Award. His peers had many wonderful things to say about Luke, but the thing that kept coming out over and over and over again is that Luke is really funny. And they're nodding, they agree. Others mentioned how he's always honest, helps others, participates in whole group lessons, and we're very grateful to have someone like Luke as a role model for our class. Luke, give us a wave. You want to tell a joke? No, I'm just kidding. I won't put you on the spot. Luke Mercer. Luke's an amazing student to have in class, exhibits all the core values of being a Woodville Bear. His peers voted for him because he's a fantastic team player and also because of his positivity. Pause up. He is friendly and helpful to everyone in class. He volunteers to help others. Not only is Luke a good student in class, he's always doing his absolute best, but he has also built meaningful relationships with his peers that will last a lifetime. He's a genuine soul. Congratulations to Luke. Luke? Ellen McAllister. Ellen is a kind, caring, and motivated student who always displays the Woodville Bear core values. She's always working her hardest and loves to have her nose in a good book. Ellen was voted by her peers because of her enthusiasm, kindness, and willingness to help others. Ellen's always looking for ways to help out around the classroom, going the extra mile. Not only is Ellen a great student in class, but she has also been working hard on expanding her love of reading and writing outside the classroom. Big things are in store coming from Ellen. Congratulations, Ellen. Ivana Lowe. Ivana comes into school shining with positive feelings and vibes every day. She greets her teachers with a big smile. She's kind to her classmates, bringing handmade crafts that she creates and shares with everyone. Whether it's working in a group in class or outside on the playground, Ivana is the best. Other students' words, but I agree. Academically, she's outstanding. She's a member of our school council, and she's going to continue to be a role model as she goes to Galvin and beyond. Congratulations to Ivana. And then Nathan Farber. Nathan has been an outstanding role model for the Woodville School. He's been involved in our school council. He helps out, school tours. You ask for something, Nathan is there. He's your man. He frequently tries his best on everything, absolutely everything, sports, academics, all around, just an awesome student. Outside of school, very active in the community. He demonstrates his Woodville core values all the time. He's been a pleasure to have this year in class. That's from your teacher, Mr. Bouchard, and he will be missed next year at the Woodville School. Congratulations to Nathan. These are 8 shining examples of Woodville school spirit and school leaders, and I'm very sad to see them go, but I will be following you, so take care, and following them, not leaving the school, but following their progression as they go on to middle school and beyond. Let's go with our volunteers. I'd like to welcome Christine Eno and Laura Michalowski to the stage. So this is probably like the worst nightmare right now, standing in front of all of you, being talked about, but these two are just two exceptional people. Everything that happens in our school for our school that comes from the family side really comes from them, and their dedication to our building is really just unmatched. I thought about writing about them separately, but really everything they do is together, so I just wrote about you together. I hope you don't mind. Thank you, Christine and Laura, for everything you do for our school. I say this knowing it might not be well received by the entire audience here tonight, but Woodville has the best PTO, and the two of you are the reason for that. From morning dance parties to celebrating every occasion to being fantastic ambassadors for the Woodville School, both of you have school spirit in spades. Pause up to both of you. Congratulations on your award tonight. The Woodville School is incredibly fortunate to have you, and good news for us, both of your second children are only in kindergarten, so it looks like you'll be with us for a while. So congratulations to both of you. I look forward to many, many more years working alongside both of you. Okay, and our two staff nominees, I'd like to have Cheryl LeBlanc and Casey Hart come to the stage. So I'll start with Cheryl. Cheryl's so kind. Sometimes I have to think about her name. Being from Canada, I want to call her LeBlanc, but it's LeBlanc. And she's so kind. She even when I first went to the school, she never corrected me. And then one day I said, "Is it like how do I say your name?" She's like, "It's LeBlanc." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." Sorry about that. Cheryl is a wonderful friend, colleague, and school nurse. Over the past 2 years, all of our roles have changed in school, but few as much as the role of school nurse. While Cheryl and I were well connected prior to COVID, our connection grew and included a lot of communication outside of school hours. My wife and I often joke that after 10 p.m. there was really only 3 women that I would talk to. It would be my wife, my mother, and Cheryl. And a lot of that had to do with just the way schools had changed. Cheryl is an expert in close contact analysis, COVID testing, and family relations. All of this while still maintaining a healthy environment for the day-to-day triaging of bumps, scratches, and aches and pains that are an everyday occurrence in an elementary school. Cheryl has always gone above and beyond, and I'm so happy to have her receive this award tonight. Congratulations, Cheryl. The Woodville School is so fortunate to have someone like you in the nurse's office every single day. Casey. Casey is a wonderful example of the importance of paraeducators at the Woodville School and in our district. Casey can work in a variety of classroom settings, carries a positive outlook, and genuinely cares for the students under her supervision and care. Casey is routinely moved around the building to support students. Her approach, ability to deal with all situations, and willingness to evolve and continue learning are all highlights of her work at Woodville, and are all things that I truly appreciate about you. Ms. Hart's work with individual students over the years has completely changed their life's trajectory. Someday, I'm hopeful that those same students will return to say thank you, but in the meantime, tonight, I want to express my thanks and the thanks of the Woodville staff and our families for all that you do. Congratulations, Casey. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Megan Webb, the principal of the Galvin. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. This is a really beautiful event, so thank you, of course, to WEF for putting it on, and for taking this moment to honor some of the great work happening in our buildings. You see a large group gathering on the ramp. I'm going to call up a big group of students and say a few words about them. I probably don't have you in the same order that you're standing, but we'll still recognize all of you. So, and we'll hold our applause to the end, please. From the 5th grade, Maggie Boudreau, Connor Courtney, Hannah Husky, Anya Lean, Juliet Salih, and Delaney Stack. From the 6th grade, Nathaniel Chines, Bruno School, Holly Clements. From the 7th grade, Sean Mara, Kayla Shaw, and Michael Taranto. And finally, our 8th graders, Victoria Grace, Mandy Lan, and Elizabeth Old. And like my my elementary colleagues, when I look at these students, I see perfect examples of all of our I Care values here at the Galvin. They exemplify our values every day, many of them in very quiet ways that their teams really wanted to shout out today and make sure that they were recognized. These are students who, when I think about the sea of children that is our cafeteria at lunchtime every day, they are always the ones inviting others to sit with them, noticing if somebody doesn't have someone to sit with, making sure tables are clean, making sure the community is welcoming to everyone. And that's in a big community setting. In their classrooms, they are always contributing, always thoughtful, and their teachers were so excited to be able to recognize them here tonight. So let's give them another round of applause. And it looks like up next I have our staff honorees. So I'll invite Kate Hersman, Eduardo Montero, Ann Whalen, and Sharon Yandell to the stage. And actually, as I'm watching you all come up, I'm guessing that one thing that all of these staff members have in common is that they were probably very surprised to be here today, because something that they have in common is that they're incredibly humble, and they are folks who work tirelessly in the building day in and day out, and would never ask for or expect recognition like this. So you might, hopefully you're not uncomfortable up here, but I think it's a wonderful quality that each of them has. So I'll start with Kate Hersman, who is our school psychologist. Kate possesses extensive expertise in her field. She utilizes her knowledge to help all of us build our understanding of our students and to support them to do their very best. Her presentations to colleagues, students, and families are always thorough, thoughtful, and designed to help us do our best work for the students that we serve. She meets us all in difficult moments and helps us to see a way forward. Kate has a knack for connecting with students and adults, and she uses this strength to make our entire school community a better place on a daily basis. So Kate, we're very excited to honor you tonight. You guys happen to be standing in the order that I wrote this, which is fun. Eduardo Montero is our amazing Spanish and French teacher here at the Galvin. Eduardo is an incredible educator for a number of reasons. He is fluent in 4 languages. He is an accomplished musician, and he knows his content area inside and out. But the most important reason that he is an amazing educator, even beyond all of these accomplishments, is that Eduardo greets every student in the doorway of his class with a fist bump every day and a warm welcome. And at middle school, that's, 125? It's a lot of students that he's, that he's greeting. He meets students where they are, and he ensures that they feel successful. He is flexible, kind, caring, and always there for his colleagues and his students. Eduardo is the kind of colleague that others go to for advice, for a listening ear, or for a great conversation. He has a way of making people, students and adults alike, feel valued and capable. I also happened to notice while I was sitting up here that he has brought his very young and beautiful family with him, and they are the most well-behaved children I have ever seen in my life. You guys are doing an amazing job. He's a brand new baby, and you're up late, and it's awesome, and I'm so glad you're here to celebrate your dad. All right, the fantastic Ann Whalen is one of our art teachers here at the Galvin. When I asked colleagues about Ann, they said that the best thing about her, she finds the positive in every single child. She helps students who may not feel like natural artists do amazing work in her classroom, which translates to helping them to see their potential in other areas in the building. She finds the inner artist in everyone, even those of us who struggle to draw a stick figure. She mentors students beyond art content, ensuring that they are heard and understood. She helps students to find their voice, their vision, and their inner talents. And she cares very deeply for the community and the well-being of all the members of our staff and student body. She organizes an annual Thanksgiving meal delivery and gives back to the community in several ways, most of which go unrecognized until tonight. So thank you, Ann. And the amazing Sharon Yandell is our reading teacher here at the Galvin. And I asked a colleague about Sharon, and she said, Sharon is all about kids and what they need, and that's all you need to know. And that's very true. At a time in life for students when facing academic challenges can be so, so difficult, she meets students with patience, kindness, sensitivity, and joy. Her classroom is kind of tucked away here at the Galvin, and it's not the easiest to find, but students past and present always find their way to her door. Students gravitate to Sharon because she tirelessly supports them to reach their goals. Her colleagues say the same. She is relentlessly kind, supportive, and genuine. She is among the best at what she does, but she always has time to share her expertise and her perspective with others. So thank you, Sharon. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the wonderful Amy Mcleod Principal at our high school. No, not yet, Amy. I know, you're eager to go. Pete, come on down. Pete, this is kind of fitting, just given the year that we've had.
I like to be invisible. I almost got my name.
I was going to say, so Pete, this is actually perfect because Pete is our PTO president, and he was new in his role this year. I was new in my role this year, so we spent a lot of time in this sort of scenario just trying to figure out what is happening, what are we doing, how do we make the most of this? But we are so excited to be able to honor Pete because I think, and I've heard other folks talking about their PTOs, and I completely agree, PTOs here in Wakefield really make sure that we capture and celebrate all of the special moments for students. And I think this year in particular, we've had so many conversations like, can we do this event? Is it time? Are the COVID rates low enough? Are we gonna wear masks? All of these different things. And Pete has been an amazing thought partner in all of that work. He's helped me to learn some of the best traditions here at the Galvin, and to make sure that we protect them, maintain them, and that we've been really thoughtful about that process this year. Pete's organized speakers, events. We're about to have the most incredible last week of school known to man, all because he is very quietly dedicated and ensuring that all of our students have an amazing middle school experience. And also, I usually see Pete only on Zoom, so it's amazing to see Pete here in person, and thank you so much. All right, and now, the amazing Amy Mcleod.
Good evening, everyone. I first just want to say, give a shout out to my fellow principals, because this actually is very stressful to get up here and make sure that you're remembering everybody, you're remembering names right, we're saying the right things about everybody. So following this great group of educators is always tough. So great job, everybody, and I'll try to do as good a job as you all did. So thank you to WEF for organizing tonight. It's so nice to be in person and to have everybody here. We spent the last 2 years trying to record things on Zoom, right, to put together videos, and for some of us, we may have recorded 137 times to get the right take, so this is a lot easier and just more lovely to see everybody in person. And thank you all for being here to help us celebrate some amazing educators and some amazing students. It's incredible to watch them come from the elementary schools, and you're going to see some really fantastic, distinguished young people here coming from the high school, so I'm happy to begin. It's my pleasure to recognize each one of these students. So folks, I would ask if you want to come up on the stage, all of you, and then I'll speak about each of you individually. Hi. So I'm going to start with our 11th graders. So folks, when I start talking about you, that sounded weird. When I introduce you and start describing you, if you want to step forward so you can get recognized and everybody knows who you are. So I'll start with the 11th graders. I'm going to ask these two to step forward together. Amaya Driggers and Anya Jacob. So Amaya and Anya have been part of the Black Student Union at Wakefield High since its inception 3 years ago. This year, as president and vice president, they have worked to make the BSU a club dedicated to creating a safe and inclusive environment to discuss social justice and promote community action. They have welcomed all students into the work and have organized actions to promote awareness and give back to the community, such as food drives, actions to raise awareness for Black History and Women's History Months, and activities to promote equity and inclusion. While just juniors, Amaya and Anya have already established themselves as leaders and will continue to promote positive change to improve our school community. Congratulations. And our other junior is Matthew O'Connor. So if students were speaking tonight, you would certainly recognize the voice of Matt O'Connor. He has entertained our community as a commentator for varsity sporting events, including volleyball and basketball games, as well as other social traditions, powder puff football, pep rally, and student faculty basketball games. He's becoming the voice of WMHS, actually. Matt's energy for Wakefield school spirit is contagious, and he cares deeply about our community. As early as his freshman year, Matt was interested in connecting with important stakeholders and demonstrated a genuine desire to make an impact on his classmates, teachers, and local community. He paved his way for that through attending monthly principals forums, proposing new and exciting fundraising and spirit-building activities for his class and the school, and most recently by contributing ideas as a member of the Warrior Logo Committee. As Matt is only a junior, we look forward to having his voice at the table, announcing the games, and participating in the work of the school improvement for another year. Congratulations, Matt. And now on to our seniors, who are not only leaders in their school, but leaders in this room as well. Lauren Blois. When not performing with the marching band and wind ensemble, or singing with Voices of Steel, Lauren can be found attending school committee meetings to stay informed, organizing through the Youth Action Team, or serving on the Wakefield Youth Council, where she shares her ideas for policy and advocates for important issues impacting Wakefield youth. Most recently, Lauren has been an active stakeholder in the work to find a new logo for the Wakefield Warriors and has organized the sale of bracelets to raise money for the people of Ukraine. While Lauren's presence will be greatly missed at Wakefield High next year, she is a quiet but powerful presence. She will continue her studies and her civic engagement at St. Anselm's College. Congratulations. Sophie Brown. Sophie is an exceptional young woman who works incredibly hard in her classes, athletics, and throughout the community. It seems that in most facets of the school where students have a voice and a presence, Sophie is at the table leading the way, serving as the class treasurer for 4 years, participating in 3 athletic seasons every year, earning several captain positions, serving as the president of the Recycling Warriors Club, co-founding the Wakefield Recycles Community Initiative, and leading the efforts on seasonal cleanups at the high school and other surrounding schools. As Sophie's guidance counselor remarked, Sophie's list of accomplishment goes on and on. She is simply amazing. Sophie will be attending UC San Diego next year. Congratulations. James Buckley. James is a student who always demonstrates the core values of the Wakefield Public Schools. He emotes kindness and empathy in every action he takes. James is very involved in a wide range of activities in our school, a member of the Warrior Logo Committee, a football player and team manager, a participant in Best Buddies, and a leader at Bridge Over Troubled Waters, a shelter for runaway teens, where James has coordinated donations and distribution of clothing items for the last 5 years. James is also a member of the National Honor Society and a peer tutor. James will continue his education at UMass Amherst next year. Congratulations. Ashling Casey. If you have been to any musical performance in the past few years, you have certainly noticed the talents of this young woman. Ashling is a leader in marching band, wind ensemble, and jazz ensemble. She leads through example with her fantastic saxophone playing. She also leads with words as a section leader in all ensembles, helping younger students improve as players and as member of the bands. As her name denotes in Irish, Ashling is the vision of a dedicated student musician and leader. She will be attending Syracuse University to major in music industry in the fall. Congratulations. Jana Herzog. Jana is very involved in school and our community. Not only is she a talented artist and an accomplished athlete, she is also an effective social activist. She is a member of the Wakefield Youth Council, where youth leaders are empowered to share policy ideas, and she advocates for issues impacting youth. She is also the Youth Council liaison to the Wakefield Human Rights Commission, connecting the two groups as they focus on human rights and social justice issues. Jana has used her talent as an artist to help the HRC visualize their One Wakefield campaign in a beautiful piece of art that you've probably seen displayed in schools, community organizations, and businesses around town. In addition to all of these activities, Jana finds time to volunteer at the MSPCA, St. Joseph Church, and Reading Youth Hockey. Congratulations. Owen Michaud. Owen can always be found helping, from volunteering in our Unified Basketball League to working with the Wakefield Youth Basketball Association and the Wakefield Little League as a referee or an umpire. Owen also helps out at the Senior Center in Stoneham, where he organizes collections of books, magazines, and games for seniors to use. During his time at Wakefield High, Owen maintained a busy schedule, including academics, varsity basketball, outside of school team commitments, volunteering, and he worked at an outside employment. The level of dedication he puts into every one of those commitments is remarkable. Owen's devotion, passion, and willingness to help others make him an integral part of our community. Owen will be attending Sacred Heart University next year. Congratulations. Congratulations to all our students. Next, I'd like to invite up our staff who have worked tirelessly over the last few years. We'd like to honor them tonight. Come on up. So I do want to honor the work of our nurses who I don't think were able to be here tonight. So I am going to speak about them, and then I'm going to speak about our adjustment counselors who are here on the stage. So Lisa Gibberti and Rita Perlin were not able to be here tonight. And I was going to say similar to what some of the principals said about the other nurses who have been up tonight. You know, when we think of school nurses, we think of lots of routines, like taking temperatures. That's a little different at the high school because they're making sure kids are actually sick, not trying to just skip, you know, their chemistry quiz. But, you know, for minor first aid and things like that. But, you know, one doesn't think about unpacking CDC guidelines, right? Conducting contact tracing with 25 kids in a classroom, or setting up an isolation room, or being the building contagious disease expert, but actually the experts in the building, right? Not just thinking they're the experts. And allaying the fears, right, of confused teachers, concerned parents, and students who are terrified about, you know, whether or not they're going to get COVID. Lisa and Rita answered texts from the sidelines of weekend games. They called teachers at home. They picked up the phone even when I had to bother them on a Sunday night to make sure we could open the building the next day. They were prepared, and they never complained. They never gave up, and they never stopped helping to keep our building running and keeping us all safe. So even though they can't be here, I know that I couldn't have run the building these last few years without Lisa and Rita. So I just want to say thank you to them. And so our three adjustment counselors, Denise Ewald, Andrea Keogh, and Suzanne Burns. So I really can't say enough about these three people that's going to capture all the work they do, but I'm going to give it a little whirl here. You know, while our nurses tended to the physical side and the physical impacts of COVID, the high school is so lucky to have a team of three adjustment counselors who have made the psychological and social emotional impact of COVID their #1 priority. Since March 2020, the number of students battling anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues have just skyrocketed. And Suzanne, Denise, and Andrea have truly run a triage for students who need individualized counseling, help with school refusal, or just a trusted adult to help transition into face-to-face schooling and being back in person. They also provide advice and strategies for teachers and families to better support our students. In a time when the needs are clearly on the rise, where an increasing number of teens struggle with mental health, and where access to services is sometimes almost impossible to find in an overwhelmed system, these three provide support and strategies to help our students navigate school and their everyday lives. They are the port in the storm. They really are for many of our students every day, and sometimes for us. So we are so grateful to have you on our team. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and to all our awesome principals. We have just a few special awards left tonight, starting with our Impact Award. So I'd like to invite Superintendent Doug Lyons to come up to present those Impact Awards.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. We are grateful to be here and back in person. To all of the students, volunteers, and faculty that were honored this evening, congratulations. Very well done. We're giving 2 Impact Awards this evening to 2 pairs of exceptional people and exceptional members of our staff. Tonight we're honoring our nurse leaders, Mary Doherty and Kelly Qualey. For the past 2 years, I have had the privilege to work very closely with Mary and Kelly on every aspect of COVID that has included safety and mitigation strategies, training staff and students on social distancing, contact tracing, masking, testing, and vaccinations. And as many of our principals have said, this is on top of their regularly scheduled duties of seeing students throughout the day. Every time the Center for Disease and Control and the DESC and Mass DPH made a change to COVID guidelines, what that meant is that we would get together and we would meet and we would learn what actually they are saying, what the scenarios would mean to us, and how we would communicate that to our faculty and staff, how we would put that in play, and how we would keep our schools open here in Wakefield. Mary and Kelly are exemplary employees. They're also exemplary people. It is part of who they are, part of their DNA, their identity, to care for people and make sure that people are well. All of our schools are a little different, and Kelly and Mary work at the smaller elementary schools at Walton and Greenwood. Nurses at the small schools are part-time assistant principal, part-time counselor, part-time healer. Kids stop in their offices all day long for ice packs, Band-Aids, a hug, a box to put a tooth in that fell out between activities. I didn't even know the nurses had that. I just learned that. It's quite impressive. They love what they're doing, and kids genuinely love visiting with them. I especially like to see kids that just drop in just to chit-chat, just to tell them how their day is going. It's actually heartwarming. Mary started with us in 1997 and has been a tremendous asset to the district. She moved to Greenwood in 2000, but had worked at Doyle, Walton, the Ewell, and had spent some time at Galvin as well. Is that right? Yeah? It's amazing. You know, we got some staff quotes and some quotes from students about both of our nurses, but you know, one of our staff members noted and said, you know, Mary is the most selfless person I know. She worries so much about everyone else during COVID. She's such a gem, and we're so lucky to have her. And I would agree. I would agree. One student made note that Mrs. Doherty's the best, hardest working nurse ever. She deserves our appreciation. When I think of all the great things she does around the school to make Greenwood the best it can be, I'm shocked that we don't have a statue out front of her to let everyone know how amazing she is. I'd like to meet the student that made that quote, and we're working on the statue. We're working on the statue. So Kelly started at Walton in 2011. Before that time, she was a nurse at Beth Israel Hospital and also worked for the Medford school system. Kelly is beloved by students, faculty, and staff, and at Walton, she fulfills the same roles that Mary does over at Greenwood. She has a perpetual smile on her face, no matter what is happening. Again, I think students genuinely love to spend time in her office. I've stopped by just to say hello for what I think is just a short note, see how she's doing during the day, only to be stopped by a second and third grader who talked for about 10 minutes straight. And Principal Schmidt made a comment about working with Kelly. He said he feels that Kelly is a joy to work with. Her positivity is infectious, and she's such a great asset to our school. Throughout the pandemic, she has and continues to smile every day. Her positivity is amazing. We are lucky to have her. It is my distinct pleasure to give this Impact Award this evening to Mary Doherty and Kelly Quayle. They are amazing. They are really amazing. The next Impact Award this evening is going to two faculty members that have made significant impact in the area of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Those faculty members are Jason Pavey and Margaret Messier. We could not think of two more deserving people to receive an Impact Award than Jason Pavey, Social Studies Curriculum Coordinator, and Margaret Messier, our English Language Arts Curriculum Coordinator. Their partnership has significantly impacted our district in numerous ways. Their work started a few years ago when they collaborated to redesign the Diversity Leaders Program at the high school, which has now become the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion class at WMHS. Their focus on creating opportunities for all students to learn about understanding, acceptance, and inclusion of all members of our community has created a space that allows students to feel safe, take risks, and become student leaders. Through transformative practices, they challenge students to grapple with complex issues, including identity, the structure of power in our society. They have worked tirelessly to help students build the necessary skills to have constructive conversations centered around productive, deliberative discourse. They lead their classes with a focus on inquiry to challenge all of us to seek to understand the perspective of others and to grow as individuals. They have led professional development focused on culturally responsive teaching, researching and highlighting more diverse resources and texts that include multiple perspectives that represent the students in our schools. They have invited guest speakers to join and enrich their classes and the experiences that they have. They have simply been exemplary instructional leaders. It is my pleasure to award the Impact Award this evening to Jason Pavey and Margaret Messier.
Thank you, Doug. Our next award is a special leadership recognition for someone who has been a champion for the Wakefield Public Schools and for WEF as well. I'd like to invite our Assistant Superintendent, Kara Morrow, to come help present this award.
Good evening. Tonight has been an incredible night celebrating so many of our students, volunteers, and educators who are making a difference in our school district every day. It has been 2 years since we have all been back together for a celebration of learning. These have been some of the most challenging and stressful years faced by our community, and we simply could not have gotten to where we are today without a collaborative team effort across our town. In addition to those educators, volunteers, and students who have been honored tonight, I would also like to add a sincere thank you to all of our Wakefield Public Schools, faculty, staff, administrators, students, families, as well as our school committee, Board of Health, town manager, town leaders, and the many volunteers and service workers who have rallied behind our schools and supported us through these challenging times. The care, support, and commitment to our students was felt every step of the way. Lastly, I stand here tonight on behalf of the Wakefield Educational Foundation and our entire administrative team. Collectively, we could not let tonight go by without offering our sincere gratitude to one more person, and that is the leader of our school district, our superintendent, Dr. Doug Lyons. I don't know if he likes this. While Doug prefers to shine a light on others and the great work happening in our classrooms and schools, he deserves a special recognition for his steadfast leadership, which has kept our schools safe and thriving over the past 2 years. Since March 2020, regardless of the uncertainty, fear, and challenges happening around him, Doug led our team with compassion, hard work, and a fierce commitment to the Wakefield Public Schools. This steady leadership in the face of adversity says so much about who Doug is, not only as a superintendent, but also as a person. Doug is present, engaged, and genuinely concerned for the well-being of our Wakefield Public Schools community. During a very difficult time, Doug has shown his ability to lead well and encourage others. His decisions are rooted in up-to-date information, the consideration of multiple perspectives, collaboration with various stakeholders, and most importantly, the information he gains by taking the time to listen to members of our community. His live weekly Zoom meetings and presence in all of our buildings are just a few examples of the extra efforts he puts forth to make connections and offer hands-on support. Throughout his time in Wakefield, Doug has been an enthusiastic supporter of WEF and its commitment to making the Wakefield Public Schools the best they can be. During the pandemic, Doug supported WEF in continuing to hold the annual Celebration of Learning as a virtual event and was instrumental in supporting the creation of memorable videos for our honorees. When WEF was uncertain if they could have a typical grant process, the group pivoted to a one-time grant to the district. Doug worked closely with the group to determine how best to use the funding to support our schools and our students. Doug, please know that your time and commitment to the Wakefield Public Schools does not go unnoticed. We are here celebrating tonight because of your leadership, and for that, we would like to say thank you. We are all so grateful to be part of your team and look forward to growing our work in the Wakefield Public Schools under your leadership. Tonight, we are so pleased to present you with the Wakefield Educational Foundation's Leadership Recognition Award. And Doug, I think you're going to come back up for our last award tonight, correct?
Oh, my goodness, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know that the night's supposed to go like this, but thank you. The next award is the Dr. Kimberly Smith Excellence Award in Education. The recipient of this award this evening is Sue Langlois. She is the best, just the best. It is my distinct pleasure to present this award tonight. It is my distinct pleasure to present the award tonight. The Dr. Kim Smith Excellence Award in Education was created to recognize a member of the Wakefield Public Schools who has fostered excellence with enormous impact in their respective school. Past recipients have included Therese Jermusik, Brian O'Leary, Deb Kalura, Tom Bankert, Adam Colantoni, and A.J. Beebe. So, pretty esteemed group. The person being honored this evening worked in business for a few years after graduating college and then followed her heart and got into the family business. Her father was an esteemed teacher and coach. Ms. Langlois started teaching at Runningbrook School and then migrated back to Wakefield. Ms. Langlois has repeatedly distinguished herself in the classroom teaching, as well as outside of the classroom working as the middle school team leader, crisis team member, trip advisor for Camp Borndale, and many, many other activities. With all that she has done and continues to do, what is most notable is the enormous impact she has had on her students. One parent wrote, "Ms. Langlois doesn't only think of her students academically, she thinks of them as people growing and becoming young adults. She studies them and knows them as well as she knows the content that she teaches." Students feel a remarkable sense of belonging and love in her class. They feel respected for who they are and valued for the contributions that they make to the class, however big or however small. These feelings of love and respect are the things that students and parents remember long after they leave Ms. Langlois' classes. It is with great excitement that I give the Dr. Kim Smith Excellence in Education Award to Susan Humphreys Langlois.
And we're done. It has been an absolute honor to be involved in such a rewarding evening. We thank all the parents, staff, students, and volunteers for making the choice to put Wakefield students' education at the forefront of your priorities. This evening is just one example of all the good and positive initiatives that are taking place in our town to promote excellence in education and future success. We now invite you to enjoy a brief reception in the cafeteria to honor our award recipients. Thank you and have a lovely evening.